So, nearby, Lucas.
Oh,
Been a while.
That just sounds wrong, Karl.
It does, doesn't it? It's been a while, but today we're talking about Shang-Chi. So, nearby, Lucas, I'm not going to get used to saying that. Would you like to explain to the lovely audience now what today's topic is on Wiki Weekend, Wiki Days?
We'll keep doing that, and yeah, it's just going to be about Shang-Chi from Earth 616.
Yes, a link to the wiki we're reading from can be found below. Before that, Lucas, the fuck do you know about some Shang-Chi?
So there's a movie coming out about Shang-Chi, right?
Yes, there's a movie that we're riding the coattails of by reading this wiki entry. Because you know what? Analytics is a rough-ass game. So we'll start, as we often do at the beginning, with a quote from Mr. Shang-Chi. My father has often said to me, a man may not be too careful in his choice of enemies, for once he has chosen, he has forfeited a friend. That's a pretty good quote from his dad. That's a quote inside of a quote. These are the words my father has lived by, for he is, are you fucking kidding me, Fu Manchu. Ooh. And his life is his word. So I'm guessing this character hails from what we like to call a different time, folks at home, because his dad's called Fu Manchu, and I'm guessing that his aliases are going to be just as bad. So let's find out, shall we? So the aliases, oh my god, I've seen the first one.
Oh no.
The aliases of Shang-Chi include Brother Hand, Chinaman, that's the noise in it, just Commander Hand, the Deadly Hand, Dragon, Master of Kung Fu, the Rising and Advancing of the Spirit, and the Chi Meister. Not Master, but Meister.
Yeah, I don't mind Chi Meister, but Chinaman's a bit, a bit rough.
It specifically says that he's called that by a villain.
Does that make it much better?
I don't know, because you know a writer had to write
Yeah.
that. That's what makes it uncomfortable. And Lucas, like, we're not messing around, are we? We know what people are here. They're here for powers and abilities. Let's slip straight to that section now. And do you want to guess what the power grid for Shang-Chi looks like? And people don't know, power grid is a ranking system 1 to 7, 1 being an average human, 7 being like, nigh omnipotent or godlike in that particular regard. For Mr. Shang-Chi.
Well, if his fighting skills aren't at least a 6, I'm going to be upset.
There are 7.
Yeah, okay.
He's the absolute master of all combat.
It's like the one thing I know about Shang-Chi is that he's good at martial arts.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited for that movie that's coming out, just because I've seen all the interviews with people working. I've not seen any of the trailers, and I'm trying to stay as clean as I can. But the interviews are just, we want this to showcase the best martial arts of any property in the Marvel continuity so far, and that means they're trying to top Daredevil.
It does, but it seems like they're very much going for like the old school kung fu, but with like a Marvel spin. Which
I'm so excited for, because I adore old kung fu movies, because I love like all Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, all that bollocks. And I should point out that the picture of Shang-Chi in this very wiki looks exactly like Bruce Lee.
Okay.
And is there anyone on Earth who, like, if they were still alive, would just make more money from suing people for ripping off the likeness than Bruce Lee?
Probably not.
Because how many characters look exactly like Bruce Lee?
Like, I mean, every realistic fighting game.
Yeah, well, we've got, we can start with fighting games. We've got Jan Lee. That's the most blatant. Jan Lee from Dead or Alive, who has Bruce Lee's last name, looks exactly like him, fights with Bruce Lee's fighting style, and his backstory is he watched a Bruce Lee movie as a kid, got obsessed, and copied all the stuff he saw on screen.
Doesn't even do like the Bruce Lee screams.
Yes, he does like the Bruce Lee Kia! It's like the Wata, which I fucking adore. And then from Tekken, we have Martial Law.
Yep.
And then his son, Forrest Law.
Oh, God, yeah.
Who looks exactly like Bruce Lee as well. And then you go over to Street Fighter, you got Fei Long. Mm-hmm. Fei Long is another rip-off of Bruce Lee. You think any more Bruce Lee rip-offs? There's got to be more.
There's probably 1,000 more that I can't think of off the top of my head. Yeah.
Rock Lee's a rip-off, like, from Naruto and stuff like that. And he's got, like, the bowl haircut like Bruce Lee did.
I'm assuming pretty much anything that's based on, like, regular martial arts, or even fantasized like Naruto, probably got some kind of Bruce Lee cameo or like spin-off or something.
Well, it's not a cameo, is it?
Well, not a cameo, but base character.
So I would like to find out, did Bruce Lee's widow get paid for any of that? And the answer probably is, hell fucking no, she didn't. And I'm wondering, are we going to have a Bruce Lee moment in Shang-Chi? I want to call it right now. Film's not out. It is, what's the date today? It is the 19th of August, 2021. I want to call it, there's going to either be a Bruce Lee cameo, or they're going to have one of his movies in the background in a scene.
I think that's more likely, yeah.
Or we're going to have him mentioned or referenced some point during the movie.
Like, someone's going to have a quip like, oh, you fight like Bruce Lee.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I will bet my left nut on that bastard. So here we go, Lucas. Oddly enough, Shang-Chi has no powers.
just really fucking good at martial
He's just
arts.
good at he has former powers, and they include the Phoenix Force, which we've already talked about the Phoenix Force, which means he's unstoppable. So his only ability is Master Martial Artist. So Shang-Chi is one of the greatest martial artists on Earth, having been trained possibly since birth to become the... How do you train a baby?
Like, out of the womb, just into a gi, just like, go, go.
Just the doctor, instead of swaddling him, just put him in the martial arts gi and just start... like, I get it, like, you know, it's that trope, trained since... It says here, though, possibly since birth, which means that they're not sure if they train the baby in martial arts.
Yeah, like, I get, as you say, like, the toddler, 2-3 years old, you start teaching him how to throw a punch, but that makes it sound like it's literal baby form training.
Yeah, Shang-Chi is skilled in various martial arts with a particular specialization in the Chinese martial arts. He has shown defeating multiple highly skilled opponents simultaneously, as well as superhumans. His great strength and chi allow him to strike with inhuman force and to break through barriers such as brick, concrete, and iron, and withstand physical impacts to an almost superhuman degree, and ease all forms of pain and discomfort. Shang has stalemated Iron Fist in single combat, which is more impressive if you consider how good Iron Fist is in the comics and not in the TV show.
Yeah, because Iron Fist is A, master martial artist, but B, has the power of the Iron Fist, and Shang-Chi's like, no.
I'm just a guy.
Yeah.
Like, he has the power. Like, he beat her, like Xiao Lao the Undying in, like, you know, hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
And then plunged his, like, you know, fist into his molten iron heart, enabling him to have the Iron Fist. And something that came out recently that I found really funny, it's like one of those things that's like, no shit, is the choreographer for Iron Fist was having an interview or something. It's like, yeah, Finn Jones didn't want to train. It's like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, we could tell.
We could tell from the fucking terrible fight.
The
It's
80 jump cuts per second, just, yeah.
Can we just do that? Editor edits this one. Can we just put in a clip from Iron Fist, any fight scene with Finn Jones in it, and then compare that to a fight scene from Daredevil?
And that's the great thing about, I think, especially that portion of Daredevil where he's in that black bandana and the black outfit. That could be anybody, and it is anybody, because you know it's not actually Charlie Cox doing the backflip kicks.
It was.
The backflip kicks?
Yeah, he trained to do that.
Really?
Yeah.
I just assumed that was like stuntman one.
There was stuntmen for something, but Charlie Cox did most of his own fight scenes, which is why it's really funny to compare him to Iron Fist.
Wow.
Weapons proficiency. Shang-Chi is highly skilled with all martial arts weaponry, including the Chinese double-edged sword, or the Jian, the butterfly swords, the oxtail swords, staves, and both single and double nunchaku. What a hero.
I mean, is that all weaponry?
No,
or is that 6 weapons?
I think they're the ones that he, like, you know, has most affinity for. I bet that's what the Bruce Lee reference is going to be. Shang-Chi's going to get nunchucks.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
He's going to get nunchucks and he's going to do the Bruce Lee nunchuck show-off routine. What? Nervous system control. Shang-Chi can control his nervous system, able to deaden his body to physical pain, or resist the effects of drugs and poisons, or even limit the spread of toxins in his bloodstream.
He just kicks the poison out.
No, it says here that he slows down his bleeding rate. So he can just look at his arm and go, stop it. He just does like the Rob Lowe from Parks and Rec, when he's like looking at it, stop it, stop pooping, stop.
But it actually works with Shang-Chi.
Pressure point locator. He can locate different pressure points on a person's body, incapacitate, paralyze, severely injure, or kill an individual. I hope he does that in order. He incapacitates them, paralyzes them, injures them, then kills them, just for the insult.
I would like it if they just didn't kill them, and then after they've been like just incapacitated and paralyzed, they wake up going, wait, what? I thought I was just knocked out.
See, that's one of my like favourite things in like fight scenes where people do that throat punch there.
Oh, yeah.
We all know the ones where someone just get like, bam, and they just go down. I didn't think that was a real thing until like I think I was like playing around with Joe the Bockens that we used to have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was playing around with one of them and got hit in the throat. And then my girlfriend told me like the #1 cause of like deaths in schools in Japan, where she used to teach, is that kids get hit during kendo fencing in the throat with one of them, and it just kills them because you can't breathe. Like, oh,
God.
patient fisher. What? Shang-Chi is a highly skilled fisherman? Espionage. Apparently, fishing's put before espionage, and while not focused as much in recent appearances, Shang-Chi has undergone training during his time with MI6 and is familiar with many espionage tactics. Philosopher. So be like water, folks, in case the reference wasn't obvious. Shang-Chi has an extensive knowledge of Eastern philosophy, and he's multilingual. So he's fluent in Chinese, Cantonese, Mandarin, Ancient Mandarin. He also now has some knowledge of French. Okay, so do you want to end on some trivia, because there's only a few sections of it here?
Yeah, let's go for it.
So here, although Shang-Chi was a uniquely Marvel Comics creation, many of his supporting cast members include Fu Manchu, Farlow Sui, and Sir Dennis Nayland Smith, were actually the creation of the early 20th century novelist Sax Rohmer. Fu Manchu and Dennis Nayland Smith made their literary debuts in 1916. In the novel, the insidious Dr. Fu Manchu.
Oh, so it is actually based on something else?
I think it's based on like a super racist thing.
Yeah.
Because just the word Fu Manchu does not leave a good taste in my mouth when I say it. In 1995, Marvel Comics almost outsourced the production of a line of 4 interconnected series to Milestone Media. Shang-Chi was going to star in one of these books. The pitch of the story, written by Dwayne McDuffie, consists of Shang-Chi travelling around the globe to dismantle his father's criminal empire, and also adding firearms to his combat repertoire. The entire project fell apart as McDuffie had arranged it with Tom DeFalco and Mark Grunwald. DeFalco was soon replaced as editor-in-chief. Okay, see, I'd like that.
I mean, I wouldn't like him using firearms because that makes a kung fu character very boring.
Only if he invented a new form of martial arts called gun fu and started fighting, like the people from Equilibrium.
I was going to say, where is gun fu from?
Like, it's from Equilibrium.
Is it? Yeah.
It's
yeah.
where they say like, oh yeah, clerics can maximize their fighting efficiency by doing cool poses and like, whoa, 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 and they're just doing like Dante's dual firing techniques. Yeah, it was Shang-Chi. I can't wait to see a Bruce Lee movie with superpowers and have an Iron Man cameo. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah.